Dolphins, Eagles, brought to you by the new Faro's Lounge Kickstarter. The Dolphins versus the Eagles. Top 5, 6 cards. Tyreek Hill, Jalen Hurts, Tua Tagliabove-Genova, A.J. Brown, Raheem Mostert, Jalen Waddle. With quite possibly the biggest deficit in Showdown history. Tyreek Hill recorded 6 receptions on 10 targets for 163 yards and 1 touchdown in Sunday's win over the Panthers. Hill was uncharacteristically quiet to begin the game, as he didn't tally his first reception until late in the first quarter. He was excellent from there, however, highlighted by a deep 41-yard touchdown reception just before halftime. As has been the case for much of the season, he also consistently made big plays, delivering 4 receptions of more than 20 yards despite a brief exit from the contest due to cramping. Hill is now topped 100 receiving yards in 4 of 6 games and has 7 touchdowns in the same span. He's the fucking beast. The man makes just big fucking plays. Big play Tyreek. Jalen Hurts completed 28 of 45 pass attempts for 280 yards, 1 touchdown, and 3 interceptions while rushing 8 times for 47 yards and a score in Sunday's loss to the Jets. Hurts' 3 interceptions matched his previous career worst mark, resulting in Philadelphia's first loss of the season. The 25-year-old nearly threw a 4th pick on the Eagles' final comeback attempt, but the ball was simply dropped by the defender and resulted in a turnover on downs instead. Despite the turnovers, the athletic quarterback still helped fantasy managers by combining for over 300 yards from scrimmage while recording his 4th game with a passing and rushing touchdown this year. Hurts retains a top fantasy option as the Eagles prepare for a potential shootout against the Dolphins next Sunday. Hurts is the man. Tua Tagliabove-Genova completed 21 of 31 passes for 262 yards, 3 touchdowns, and no interceptions in Sunday's win over Carolina. Tagliabove-Genova recorded his 2nd fewest yards in a game this season, though that's more of an indication of his excellent start to the year than a poor performance. He averaged 8.5 yards per attempt and managed his 3rd game of the campaign with at least 3 touchdowns, which came from 3, 4, and 41 yards away. In addition, Tagliabove-Genova continued to show his ability to push the ball deep as he completed 2 passes of more than 40 yards and 4 of greater than 20. He now has at least 249 yards and 1 touchdown in every contest heading into a Week 7 matchup against the Eagles. A.J. Brown. 7 receptions on 9 targets for 131 yards in Sunday's loss to the Jets. Brown produced his 4th consecutive game with 125 or more receiving yards despite Philadelphia taking its first loss Sunday. The 26-year-old also finished the Eagles' leading receiver, despite his 9 targets finishing 3rd behind teammates Devontae Smith and DeAndre Swift. Brown's big receiving day brought his season line up to 42, 672, 2, with the lack of touchdowns being the only possible criticism through 6 strong weeks. Look for Philly's top receiver to be featured against the Dolphins next week when the 2 star-studded teams face off on Sunday Night Football. Big play. Devontae Smith, DeAndre Swift. So, DeAndre Swift is on the board. Devontae Smith is on the board. Targets, finishing 3rd behind those 2 crazy bastards. Raheem Mostert rushed the ball 17 times for 115 yards and 2 touchdowns in Sunday's win over the Panthers. He added 3 catches for 17 yards and an additional score. Mostert led Miami's backfield with a season-high 20 touches, and he dominated opportunities when the game was in question. He used the additional volume to record his 2nd 100-yard rushing performance of the campaign, highlighted by a long gain of 48 yards. Mostert also continued to benefit from the incredibly efficient Dolphins offense with his third multi-score effort of the year, and he now has 11 total touchdowns in only 6 games. That's very unlikely to continue, and he could also have a share of the backfield week 7 against the Eagles, as Jeff Wilson Jr. appears poised to return from injured reserve. Jeff Wilson Jr. is on the board. Jalen Waddle recorded 7 receptions on 9 targets for 51 yards and a touchdown in Sunday's win over the Panthers. Waddle saw a strong volume for the second consecutive week. He had only one fewer target than Tyreek Hill, and now has 19 opportunities across his last 2 games. Given the context of the Miami offense, he was surprisingly inefficient with the looks, though he did manage to find the end zone from 4 yards away, resulting in a second consecutive matchup with a score. Heading into a Week 7 contest against the Eagles, Waddle has clearly served as the secondary option behind Hill in the offense and is yet to top 86 yards in a game this season. Tyreek Hill is on the board. Oy, oy. All right, boys, that's the top 6 down to the bottom of the deck. Both these teams played. Nobody was on bye, right? The Eagles played the Jets. The Dolphins played the Giants. No, Dolphins played the Panthers. Devin Allen, practice squad. Allen did not record any stats during Sunday's loss to the Jets while playing solely on special teams. Allen has now been activated for 2 games this year and will return to the practice squad and await his next opportunity to be called up. Fucking A right, huh? Lou Nichols III, signed to the practice squad Monday. A 2023 7th-round pick by the Packers, Nichols spent this summer in Green Bay before starting the season on injured reserve. He was eventually cut with an injury settlement. Nichols takes the practice squad spot of Brian Kovac. Why do I read the practice squad shit? Robbie chosen. Keep going to Tanner Connor. Tanner Connor? Practice squad. No, you know what? Fuck the practice squad news reports. Alec Ingold draws a questionable designation ahead of the Dolphins' Week 7 game in Philadelphia. Ingold logged back-to-back limited practice sessions to close the week after sitting out Wednesday. He looks to be a true game-time decision, so his status is unlikely to be determined until closer to kickoff. He is the only fullback on Miami's roster, which means some of the offensive playbook could be limited if he does not get the green light. Ay, ay, ay. Chris Brooks, placed on injured reserve Friday. Brooks sprained his ankle Week 6 against Carolina, and he will be sidelined until at least Week 12 against the Jets as a result of the injury, 4 games plus Miami's bye. Miami didn't announce a corresponding roster move, but it's possible that the roster spot opened up by the Brooks placement on IR will go to running back Jeff Wilson, who is in the second week of his 21-day window to be activated from IR. That's 2 for Wilson. Rashad Penny, inactive against the Jets. All right, that's old fucking news. Funk, Hill, Covey, Calcaterra went without a target while playing 5 of the Eagles' 70 snaps on offense in the loss to the Jets. Calcaterra has yet to see any involvement in the passing game this season, while allowing 37 snaps on offense across the Eagles' first 6 contests. He'll be limited to a bit role while being the top 2 options on the depth chart at tight end. Dallas Goedert and Jack Stoll are both available. Dallas Goedert is on the board. Jack Stoll is on the board. Wilson, Cray Crap. Anything new on Cray Crap? Quez Watkins, injured reserve Saturday. You gotta read this shit. No, this is old fucking news. Devin Shane, I believe that's old news. Yes, old news. Elijah Higgins did not appear on Arizona's injury report Wednesday. What? Higgins missed the team's Week 6 loss to the Rams while dealing with wrong fucking team. He must have just been signed or some shit. Jack Stoll went without a target while playing 22 of the Eagles' 70 snaps on offense in Sunday's loss to the Jets. Stoll ran a season-high 12 routes, nearly matching his total from the Eagles' first 5 games combined. He still went without a target for the 4th time in his 6 appearances on the season, and is expected to provide most of his value as a blocker whenever he's on the field. Jeff Wilson Jr., full participant for 3rd consecutive practice Friday. Wilson practiced without limitations this week, and the Dolphins opened up a spot in the 53-man roster by moving fellow running back Chris Brooks to injured reserve Friday. So all signs point to the former coming off injured reserve to suit up Sunday against the Eagles. Once he's officially activated, Wilson will likely leapfrog Salvin Ahmed as the primary backup to Raheem Mostert, at least until productive rookie Devin Achane returns from his own IR stint. Raheem Mostert is on the board. Salvin Ahmed is on the board. Jeff Wilson fucking Jr. Boston Scott saw the field for 5 offensive snaps on Sunday's loss to the Jets, carrying the ball twice for 2 yards and catching 1 pass for 14 yards. Scott wasn't a significant part of Philadelphia's offensive game plan, but it was at least a step in the right direction after he missed Week 3 with a concussion and spent Week 4 and 5 limited with special teams duty. He likely needs at least one injury ahead of him to the one running back depth chart for him to step into a fantasy-relevant role. Well, that's garbage. Chase Claypool, inactive for Sunday's game against the Panthers. Old news. Zacchaeus, targeted twice in Sunday's loss to the Jets, finishing with 1 catch for 5 yards. With Quez Watkins on injured reserve, Zacchaeus stepped up to the Eagles' 3rd wideout, but the additional snaps didn't lead to much production. Zacchaeus has now caught a total of 4 passes in 3 games Watkins has missed this year, though that's 4 more than his total of 0 in the 3 games Watkins has been available. Well, Watkins ain't playing, so. Durham Smith failed to secure his only target during Sunday's win over the Panthers. Smith's involvement in Miami's passing game has sharply declined recently, as he has just 1 target across his last 2 appearances. That may in part be due to the fact that the undrafted free agent tight end Julian Hill has steadily increased his snap share, having logged a season-high 45% of the offensive snaps Sunday, while Smythe dropped down to 68%. Smythe's low fantasy floor means he's likely being left out of lineups looking ahead to a Week 7 road matchup against the Eagles. Julian Hill. We just haven't seen anything, huh? Caught shit, but he's in play. So you're saying there's a chance. Julio Jones signed to the practice squad Tuesday. The 34-year-old free agent was seemingly waiting for a favorable landing spot to open up, and he appears to have found one in Philadelphia. With Quez Watkins landing on injured reserve, Jones could settle in as the Eagles' number 3 behind A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith once he's up to speed with the team's playbook. The Eagles are the 4th stop in 4 years for Jones, who hauled in 24 of 42 targets for 299 yards and 2 touchdowns while adding another 45 yards on 5 carries over 10 games with Tampa Bay in 2022. If he impresses in his first week of practice, he could be elevated to the 53-man roster ahead of Sunday's game against the Dolphins. So Zacchaeus get phased out, huh? A.J. Brown is on the board. That's 2 for Smith. Devontae Smith. Braxton Berrios secured both of his targets for 20 yards during Sunday's win over the Panthers. Berrios continues to handle a valuable depth role for the Dolphins behind top wideouts Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle. But aside from Week 4 versus Buffalo when he found the end zone, that hasn't led to fantasy success. Except in the deepest of formats, he won't be in consideration as a streaming option for Miami's matchup against the Eagles in Week 7. Yeesh. That's 2 for Hill. And Jalen Waddle is on the board. Eagles and Dolphins D. Kenny Gain. Well, just get one more up. Oh, there we are. All the way. The upper echelon, if you will. Kenny Gainwell finished Sunday's loss to the Jets with 2 carries for 13 yards and added 4 more receiving yards on 1 reception. Gainwell didn't trail primary running back DeAndre Swift by a wide margin in snap count, but Swift had 10 carries to Gainwell's 2. That represented a season low for Gainwell, who's now carried the ball a total of 13 times over the last 3 weeks after receiving 14 carries in each of the first 2 games of the year. Swift. 2 for Swift. Salvin Ahmed carried the ball 6 times for 23 yards and 1 touchdown during Sunday's win at Carolina. Ahmed worked behind Raheem Mostert, rushing yards and 3 total touchdowns during Sunday's blowout win over the Panthers, though Chris Brooks also handled 6 carries before being forced out during the fourth quarter. It looks like Jeff Wilson will be healthy enough to make his season debut Week 8 against Philadelphia, or Week 7. Though in operating at 100%, he could stand to work ahead of Ahmed as a complement to Mostert. That's 2 for Mostert and 3 for Wilson. Jake Elliott made both of his extra point attempts but missed his only field goal try in Sunday's loss to the Jets. Elliott had been a big fantasy producer in the first 5 weeks of the season, averaging over 3 made field goals per game. He produced a dud in Week 6, however, missing from 37 yards in his lone attempt. The Eagles' offense as a whole struggled as they lost for the first time this season, with 4 turnovers cutting drives short before Elliott got the chance to work. Jason Saunders converted all 6 of his extra point attempts during Sunday's win over Carolina. Sanders has only attempted 1 field goal in Miami's last 4 games, and he's been 100% accurate on an incredible 22 extra point tries in that game span. The Dolphins' high-flying offense will continue to provide Sanders plenty of scoring opportunities, even if Coach Mike McDaniel's aggressiveness means that lacks reliable floor in terms of weekly field goal tries. Tua Tagovailoa and company will face a more difficult defensive matchup Week 7 versus the Eagles. So Tua is on the board, and the Eagles D is on the board. The Eagles D, Skyler, Mariota, McKee. Inactive for the Jets, that's old news. Mike White, Dallas Goedert. Doesn't have an injury designation for Sunday's game against Miami. Goddard was a limited practice participant throughout the week and should be ready for his usual 3-down role Sunday night. He's produced just 1 big receiving line in 6 tries this year, but better days should be ahead given that his playing time and usage stats don't look much different than last season's. Devontae Smith doesn't have an injury designation for Sunday's game against Miami. There was some concern earlier this week when he was held out of Wednesday's practice, but the Eagles were comfortable with what they saw from Smith in limited sessions Thursday and Friday. With the recent addition of Julio Jones could eventually give the Eagles a number 3 who takes an undecent share of targets, it'll be likely that Smith, A.J. Brown, and Dallas Goedert leading the way Sunday night. So Julio Jones is on the board. That's 2 for A.J. Brown. That's 2 for Goddard. There we go. And finally, last of the evening. My God, I've been doing this all day. DeAndre Swift, 10 carries for 18 yards while adding 8 receptions on 10 targets for 40 yards and a touchdown in Sunday's loss to the Jets. Smith was stymied by New York's beefy front on his team-high 10 carries Sunday, but his busy work as a receiver helped offset his shortcomings on the ground. It was the 24-year-old's 3rd touchdown of the season and the first via reception through 6 games with his new club. Swift had just 9 receptions, 11 targets in Philadelphia's first 4 games before rattling off 14 catches over the last 2 weeks. The recent influx of targets only boosts Swift's fantasy value, heading into next week's game against Miami on Sunday Night Football. Woof! It's a lot of talking. It's a lot of bloody talking. All right. We got our things in here. No stacks. 150 optimal, one unique. All right, let's go through who we love. Of course, we love Tyreek. Of course, we love Tyreek. Jalen, of course, is the man. Tua, of course, is the man. AJ Brown, of course, is also the man. He's the leading receiver. We love this motherfucker. Raheem Mostert, we love Raheem. Waddle, we dig as well. Swift, we dig as well. Devontae, fuck him. Goddard, fuck him. Elliott, Ahmed, Gainwell, Dolphins, D. Eagles, Barrios, Julio, Jones, Smythe, Zacchaeus, Claypool, Scott, Jeff Wilson Jr. We really like. They kept talking about that motherfucker. Jack Stoll, I got a little like for Jack Stoll, especially with Goddard banged up. Cedric, Covey, Hill, Brooks, Ingold, Chosen. All right. Because it was just a bunch of twos. We got all the twos. It's all twos, with Jeff Wilson as a three. All right. Let's get to the captains first. And flex, we got to do some work in the flex because this is 150 lineups, which means I'll put a bunch of these assholes in there. Chosen, no. Ingold, no. Brooks, Hill, Covey, Wilson, Soul. Not a captain. Scott, no. Claire, no. No, 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 no. Ahmed, no. Elliott, no. Sanders, no. Goddard, yes. Vontae Smith, yes. Swift, yes. Waddle, Mostert, Brown, Tua, yes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 captains. Minimum 1%. Maximum 99. But let's go over to our flex. Because I don't want to shoving in a bunch of these shitty guys. So, of course, Hill, Tagliover, of course, Brown, Mostert, Waddle, Swift, Smith, Goddard, Sanders, Elliott, Ahmed, Gainwell, Dolphins, Eagles, Barrios, all eligible flexes. Julio, Smythe, Zacchaeus, Claypool, Scott, Wilson, Stoll, yeah. Cedric Wilson, did he even fuck come up at all? He got 9 points against the fucking Giants. He was the number 3, but he did shit against Carolina. But he's in play. Unfortunately, he's in fucking play. Britton Covey. Fuck this guy. Covey's out. Julian Hill, I guess he's in play. He's backing up, what's his face? Smythe? Brooks is not. Ingold is not. Chosen is not. Right? Chosen? What's going on, Robbie Chosen? He's done shit. They brought him in that one time when fucking somebody was banged up, when Waddle was banged up. He ain't done dick since. He's out. Let's go, baby. 150 lineups. Take a puff while we wait. And of course, remember the new Pharaoh's Lounge Kickstarter. We did it, man. We sat here all fucking day and did these up. So disgustingly proud of them. All right, let's make sure we get all cats. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, all 9. They only give Mostert and fucking Goddard one lineup each? Wow. 2 for Swift, 4 for Smith, 6 for Waddle, 8 for Tua, 26 for Tyreek, 31 for A.J. Brown, 71 for Jalen Hurts. Wow. All right. In the flex, wow, 141 fucking appearances for Jeff Wilson Jr. A.J. Brown, Hill, Hurts, of course, Smith, Tua, Swift, Waddle, Durham Smythe gets 25 lineups. Wow. Cedric Wilson gets 22 fucking lineups. Wow. Braxton Berrios, 22 lineups. Dallas Goedert, 17. Eagles D, 15. Elliott, 12. Zacchaeus, 12. Dolphins, 10. Julio, 9. Raheem, 8? Really? Wow. This saying he ain't going to do shit in this game? Well, the Eagles have a good run defense. 6 for Gainwell, 6 for Saunders, 5 for Stoll. I'd have thought Stoll would have gotten more. Julian Hill, 5. Boston Scott, 3. Chase Claypool, 1. Lone lineup. I trust it. What just fucking happened here? You fucking love when it's programmed all wrong. So I'm going to scroll through these so you can take your fucking pick. God damn this fucking computer sometimes. Son of a bitch cunt. All fucking day it's doing it no goddamn prompt, and now you want to give me a fucking prompt. So I got to drag it with my own fucking finger, huh? Brown, Smith, that's a pretty good lineup. Hurts, Hill, Brown, Smith, Dolphins, Wilson. Hurts, Hill, Brown, Waddle, Smythe. A lot of Smythe. Berrios. Hill, Hurts, Brown, Swift, Smythe, Wilson. It'll be a hell of a game. Now I'm trying to win. I mean, I'm trying to win all the way up to about. This is a $5,000 game for first place. I want to put this 5 large into the fucking game tomorrow, into the Monday night game. I'm trying to win 5 so I can put 3 grand for 150 lineups in the millie. Well, the half a millie. The idea is also to try and win tomorrow all these 1 o'clocks and 4 o'clocks to win enough to put more lineups into this fucking game. The half a millie. So, there we go. No lineup download of the day. Ugh. Lineups. Upload. Into the lobby. All right, ladies and gentlemen. May fate and faith decide your fortune if you should win. Blow your money on the new Pharaoh's Lounge Kickstarter. Peace, love, war.